on Vortex sprockets and bars from those guys, and we thank them for coming on the show. Vortex Racing, pleased and proud to bring you our next guest from AEO Motorsports. He owns a bunch of dealerships, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. Jeremy Scism. What's up, Jeremy? How are you?
I'm good, guys. How you doing?
I keep screwing up your last name, so just bear with me, Jeremy, on that, okay?
It's all right.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Paul talked about you at the beginning of the show a little bit. Obviously, we're talking to different people about sort of the COVID-19 effect on dealerships, on the aftermarket, on pro racing, and everything else. For you, you have dealerships in across the Southwest, a little bit, 3 of them. How's everything going for you? How's it happening, if at all, for you right now at AEO Motorsports?
AZ's been still pretty solid. We've only been on quarantine for about a week now. So we haven't seen a super big effect out there yet. It's definitely slowing down a little bit, but nothing scary. California's definitely, we're going on almost a month now. It's definitely taken a hit with all the Southern California tracks shutting down. Every track as of today shut down. So it's definitely slower, but we also, we've only been open for about 9 months, so our customer base isn't as big as some of the other shops out here. So, we hear some of the shops out here are still doing okay. We're staying open every day. We've modified hours a little bit, cut hours back a little bit, and then we've also been doing like curbside pickup, free shipping, delivery on bike sales, stuff like that, just to try to help the customers stay safe out here. Southern California is definitely, everybody's I would say a little bit more paranoid about everything that's going on than Arizona for sure. And
so are you still doing new units? Have people been buying some stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of by appointment only out here. We're really not supposed to be selling units because it's non-essential.
Right.
Arizona hasn't mandated that yet. They're pretty open. All our tracks are still open. All the state land and riding areas are still going. So Arizona hasn't really taken too much of a hit. I think it scared people at the beginning. But they're kind of back buying again for sure.
We just had Jason Thomas on from Fly. They're doing a 10% off for retail. If you buy a helmet, you're getting a pair of goggles. If you buy boots, you're getting a pair of socks, that type of stuff. I guess, Jeremy, for you, that's things you need to do also, right? Kind of creative ways to get some sales going.
Yeah, we've been actually this week trying to think of some creative specials to do to get people back in. We have obviously our own suspension company, so trying to get people back in doing suspension, service specials and stuff like that. Obviously discounting gear, accessories, stuff that's definitely slowed down right now for sure.
Yep. Hey, so for you, like you said, you're a newer dealership. You got 3 of them, right? You got 3 of them?
Yeah, I got 2 in Arizona, and then obviously the Marietta one's about 9 months old now.
So is this something like, obviously we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know what's going on. Do you foresee yourself surviving in the California location? Like, is this touch and go for you to see how you can go and all of that? Are you scared about that?
Yeah, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking. I mean, we've made it through the recession, so this I don't think is as bad as that yet, but definitely it's scary. I mean, right now I don't think we are seeing the impact as much as we're going to see the impact in maybe 6 months when people, are been out of work and, we don't really know what's going to happen. So that's kind of the scariest thing, is the unknown.
Yeah, really, right? And like JT was saying, or you were just saying, you got to come up with something, some hook, some reason, some discount, something to move some product.
Yeah, and KTM, and let's just say the KTM Group now, because we have 3 brands of motorcycles and a suspension brand. They've actually been super helpful in getting rebates out sooner, helping with the financing stuff, and letting people know that they're kind of backing the dealers to keep us going. They're all up at headquarters still every day thinking of ideas and trying to keep us open and keep us going. So they've been a huge help for sure.
Yeah, I was kind of saying that earlier, like the Honda, like car companies are saying, hey, put your payments on hold. Mortgage companies, it seems like everybody's trying to do the right thing here and try to help people, because there are people that, are out of jobs and everything. So I'm glad KTM is doing that for you on that level. That's awesome. Do you find the parts stuff is going well? Like we had Chris saying the service stuff is going well. Paul, you mentioned Renthal is doing okay in the month of March. Jeremy, do you find like air filters, chains, sprockets, spark plugs, that kind of stuff is still moving?
Yeah, it's definitely still out in Arizona for sure.
Yeah.
Just because everybody can still ride. California definitely has taken a hit because people as of this week can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's the really big fear. This weekend I even went up and rode LACR because it was still open. It was packed and there was a lot of people there. And then as of today, LACR, Cal City, everybody's shut down. So I guess we'll really see what happens now that there's really nowhere to go. I mean, people are still going to ride, but illegally, I guess.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see the masses of what we normally see in Southern California for sure.
So I've been going to this track, Western Raceway in Arizona, just past the Hoover Dam. And so that's in Arizona. And he had his best week ever 2 weeks ago. And he got in a little heat from the county saying, hey, make sure people are parking apart. Make sure there's some social distancing going on. So he's put up some stakes and all of that now. But he had his best week ever 2 weeks ago. Just everyone going out riding their dirt bikes.
Yeah, I think the dirt bike industry is definitely probably the one taking this the best, kind of just not freaking out.
Yeah.
They just want to still go out and have fun. And I mean, I think all of us know that we can stay away from each other. And everybody at LACR yesterday was, let's just say, social distancing within reason. And when you're on your dirt bike, you're not usually 6 feet from anybody, and no one else is touching your dirt bike. So it's a pretty safe place in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right. I know we talked at the beginning of the show. Some people are like, hey, don't ride anything, blah, blah, blah. I don't subscribe to that. I just, sorry, I can't. You gotta get out and do something. Otherwise you're all going to go crazy, in this, because we're in this for another month at least. So
yeah.
I heard today, I got a phone call today that, some guy was ratting out the tracks in SoCal and they weren't allowed to stay open. And so this guy was calling counties saying, close this track. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
We kind of heard the same thing a lot yesterday. Obviously talked about it pretty openly at the track, and then everybody coming in. And I mean, a lot of riders are not happy because it's our only out. There's nothing else to do right now, and at least we could go to the tracks and feel like we're still a little bit human.
Yeah. So, what kind of douchebag you got to be doing that? Like, yeah. Like, seriously. I get it. You can't ride your track because whatever, but you're going to call everyone to make sure they can't ride their tracks? Like, what?
That's just selfish, yeah.
God. I guess nothing should surprise us in 2020, right?
Yep.
When it comes to the way that people work.
Well,
go ahead.
A lot of memes in the new generation is everybody just kind of out for themselves. And I think in these situations is when you really see a lot of people how they act.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Jeremy, for people who don't know, you were one of the guys that were supporting Brock Tickle. He was going to ride a Husqvarna when his suspension was up. Husqvarna or KTM? Husqvarna.
Husky.
And obviously he got the ride with JGR and everything else, but you were going to be a big part of that program. I guess, I mean, it sucks for you. We talked about it at the time, like you can't blame Brock because he was getting a factory Suzuki and getting expenses covered and all of that. But, man, behind the scenes, that had to have been a bit of a blow for you.
Yeah, it definitely was a bummer. I mean, we were super excited about it. Me and Mark from Research Engineering Performance, we were super excited to get him on board. Obviously, it was going to be good publicity for the new shop in Southern California. And honestly, it was fun to help out Brock. No one else was stepping up to help him. I was kind of new to Southern California, having the Arizona dealerships. I wanted to help him, and it was fun while it lasted. It definitely still helped us a lot. Not only that, I got a good friend out of it. Now we're still pretty tight with Brock, and I talk to him a couple times a week usually. He stops by the shop, and we're happy for him, and we totally understand. Definitely still a bummer, but we get it. I'm not a factory team.
Oh, so I was going to ask you if this caused some hard feelings or if you were pissed, but no, sounds like you understood it also. Yeah.
Absolutely not. We were happy to help. We kind of knew going in that there was a good chance that he was going to get picked up. And then especially with how he was riding, he was killing it on the bike, and a lot of people were seeing that, and word got out. And then definitely when a couple of the guys got injured at JGR, it was a good move on their part, and a good move for Brock, because it took a lot of pressure off of him, because he was still having to do a lot of stuff on his own, because we could only do so much opening a new dealership and running the day-to-day stuff. I could only handle so much for him. So
yeah, it's a real bummer for you, but then Brock falls into the black cloud of JGR, Paul, and breaks his hand.
Yeah.
Second race.
Yeah, that's a shame, right? But it was that's why I was excited to have Jeremy on the show tonight, because he is a dealership that's involved in racing and passionate about racing, and I think there's less of that around sometimes.
Right.
So it's cool. It's like I love that he has a location in Marietta now. It's like 10 minutes from my house, and I feel like I can go down there and chit chat, and hang out behind the counter, or it's just like it's a place to gather and hang out. It's not just a big corporate environment, which that works obviously in different places too. But it's cool to be involved with a dealership, or just have a place to go that they understand racing and they know what's going on. It's cool.
Yeah, so when are you buying a semi, Jeremy, and going to have a full team next year?
Never. No, he's not going to do
that. 2021.
I don't think that's going to happen anytime. I actually like being married, and I think that would probably end it.
Yeah, that would be. So did you start off in Arizona then with your first location? You lived there, and now you moved to California?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Washington State and moved to Arizona in 2002. And met the people that started up AEO Powersports, and then took it over in 2005. And I was just a part service and accessory store, and then we started a suspension business. And then I think in 2015 we got the Husqvarna dealership in our second location, and then we did really good at it our first couple of years. And KTM and Husky actually asked us to come out to California, because the way we run our dealerships is definitely old school. The things I remember as a kid going into a shop and being able to talk to the owner or talk to the guys behind the parts counter and stuff like that. That was the thing that I remember, and that's how I try to run the shops is the relationships with our customers. We've become really good friends with a lot of them. We friend them when they come in, So we take a little bit more time and are a little more personal with them than I guess the big shops. We're not. It works, and I think that's I really value the brick and mortar, the brick and mortar stores, because that's kind of where our industry started. And I know the internet's huge now, and a lot of people shop on the internet because it's easy, but we can all survive in this. And with brick and mortar, you can come in, you can touch things, you can try things on, and you talk to the guys about riding and where you rode this week and what's going on with your bike and stuff like that, which is a lot different than just going on the computer and ordering stuff.
Yeah, well, we had the guys from Motorsport in here at the beginning of the year, and they came on with us, and of course they're an online guy and everything else. And I gave my speech then about, when I was building some project bikes, I went to the big chain dealership here in town, and they didn't have a fucking spark plug. And then the guy, I'm like, hey, I need a fuel line clip for a CR, and he had to look up the part number, right? He doesn't just know this is the clip for the CR. You just want that guy behind the counter that knows you need a BR9 EG.
Yep.
He knows you need this kind of clip for that, or you know what I mean?
Yep.
You just lose it. And I remember growing up, and I worked at a dealership at a Honda. Those are the guys.
That's how it was. Kind of.
Those guys knew.
Yeah.
You lose that with these chain places. They just, so that's what you want in a brick and mortar place.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is just our industry is not the most lucrative when it comes to having a job in it. So having being able to afford a good parts guy is tough, so you get these kids or people that don't know a whole lot in the industry. And that's kind of what's happened is they're just cycling through people, and they don't teach the employees. Well, we have a lot of long-term employees. Without my employees, I wouldn't be where I'm at. My AZ stores pretty much run themselves with the guys I have behind them, and they do the same thing that I kind of established. They take care of the customer, and that's really really what sets us apart from online,
Yeah.
So
Right. Well, I hope you make it through this with all 3 stores. And I have a theory, and I have no evidence behind this, Jeremy, but I just think when we get back at it, June, July, August, whenever that is, I think there's going to be a boon. I think people are going to be anxious to spend some money and get back into things. Again, I have no proof of this. It's just what I feel. I just feel like everyone will be cooped up and everyone will be, getting their jobs back. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people get their jobs back, and the economy starts rolling, and I think there'll be a boon. So
no, I definitely hope so, and I definitely think the true enthusiasts will definitely that's what we're all going to need to get out of this for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I thank you for your time tonight. Maybe can our listeners hit you up on Instagram on a DM if they want a deal or they want a price on something? Let's try to get you some business. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love that.
All right, hit AEO Power Sports.
Yeah.
No spaces or anything.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No, yeah, just AEO Power Sports.
AEO Power Sports on Instagram. Hit up Jeremy if you need a price on a unit, if an AZ or California or some parts or whatever, and see what they can do for you, for our listeners, and maybe we can drive some business your way for coming on and supporting the local dealership for sure. So
awesome. I appreciate it, you guys.
No problem. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right. See you later.
See ya.
That's Jeremy Scism. Nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, hopefully. And that's the stores that, obviously Motorsport's on board with us, and we love the online guys, and they've done really well. But there's room for them, and there's room for brick and mortar guys who do it right.
Yeah, sure.
Like I said, the deal.